Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I'm doing a book review of The Lessons Never Learned by Rob J. Hayes. This book came out in 2020. It's self-published and it's a fantasy novel. I bought this book on Amazon on ebook and I'm definitely going to be buying it in paperback. This is part 2 of the War Eternal series, so there are spoilers for Along the Razor's Edge in this review because obviously this is part 2. Along the Razor's Edge is absolutely fantastic, and it was one of my favorite books from last year. So if you plan on reading that, please do not watch this video because there are a lot of spoilers. But I do review Razor in another video, so you can search for that in my videos. I will also make it the clickable thing at the end of this video. So if you want to just scroll forward and just click on it there you go. So rather than a pithy one sentence thing that I usually do in my reviews, all I can say about this one is, so good. What is this book about? I am the weapon. Eskara is free of the pit, but far from safe. She is beset by the ghosts of those she has killed, and plagued by the ancient horror that possesses her. Enemies dog her heels, determined to see the last Orin sorcerer dead. Worse still, there is a new player in the game, one far more dangerous than anything she has faced before. But there is one place that might offer both the safety she needs to survive and the power she needs to strike back. Roshan, the flying home of a god. Eska will soon learn that all power comes with a cost, and some prices are too high. So this is basically going to be kind of a fangirl review. Like the first book, I loved this damn thing. It's not as gritty as the first one, mainly because it doesn't take place in a prison pit, but it has just as much violence, action, and Eskara Helsane being a complete and utter psychopath. There are also parts, though, that make her wholly sympathetic, that round out her character and show why she's just so damn compelling to read about. She's not a nice person. She's selfish and demanding and impulsive, but she's also 19. I guess I just identify with her because I was kind of that way when I was younger, and like her looking back, I'm like, geez, mellow out, Tina. But that is basically what this novel is doing as well. Old Eska doesn't apologize for her choices that she made, but she does explain herself. The way the story functions as a frame story, something I'm not super into, is seamless and well balanced, and I actually like it in this book. There are details left out that feel natural, where old Eska will say, "Oh, I can't explain that right now out of context," or she omits something only to circle back later. It feels like a real journal, and it's very engrossing in that way. The other characters are fine, though I don't love any of them, except for one that I will get to. We have 4 from the first book and a few new ones. The new ones I didn't find I got to know as well, but Eska is so involved in her own stuff and her own head that she doesn't really give us time to kind of learn about her friends separately. I will say the part with Kento was heartbreaking, though. I can't imagine. I was like, ooh, that was hard. Now, the character I loved the most was, of course, Sirakis. I don't know how to say his name. Sirakis. I love, as you probably know, a Venom-like possession story, and this one takes the journey that I adore when the possessed and possessor begrudgingly start to develop a relationship that isn't just, there is a horrific monster inhabiting my brain, and I hate this moronic host. We start to learn more about Sirakis, and it and Eska have conversations, and it becomes vulnerable at a few points that made me go, oh no, not my ghosty. The way the horror operates and functions within and outside Eska was absolutely enthralling, and there are a few battle scenes that were just like, wow, that's awesome. I am overjoyed that the books are going in that direction, as demon possession is a trope I love, if I haven't said that enough. Just not like Exorcist, I don't like religious possession like The Exorcist. That's kind of boring to me, actually, but I love fantasy demon possession. I will say I laughed when Eska described Sirakis' voice as like a bag full of snakes, angry snakes. The concept, magic system, and lore in the novel are also so well conceived and fun. Flying citadels are always cool. I love the stone swallowing magic system, and the extended and interesting history we get on the magic in the novel really broadens the world in this one. There is also this random idea that is not explained but is very creepy about this rent in the sky that seems to contain a monster or something. Is it like another dimension? Basically, strange things happen around that tear in the world, and once the eye focuses on you, it never looks away. No matter how much you might flee or how deep in the earth you might hide, the eye is always watching. What the heck? Why would you say that and then just not explain it? But it's kind of fun because it actually, obviously because of my own writing, I do a lot of reading on kind of how to do engrossing world building. And one of the things they say is that leave little tidbits that aren't explained, because it makes people feel it makes people wonder, and they make their own kind of correlations about stuff. And so when I read that, I was like, what does that mean? And then I was kind of like, what if the eye is meant to be us, the reader, watching the main character of the story? Like, whoa, maybe I need to lay off my weekly green. Anyway, now a few points of critique, and these are pretty minor. There was some repetition of words and phrases. We did need Eska to say she couldn't read pot facial expressions as many times as she did, for example. There also persists the same problem I remember from book 1, and that's the damn comma splices. Semicolons are a thing you can use to combine two complete thoughts or sentences, not a comma. You shouldn't use a comma. Just saying. One bigger thing that I was kind of meh about was the love story, or like a relationship between two of the characters. I just didn't feel it. I wasn't sure what either character saw in the other, what drew them together, as we're given kind of no indication that it was a ruse on either person's part. So I was like, well, what's their deal? Why are they a couple? In truth, I don't think we really even needed that angle at all. It could have just been platonic. It felt a bit forced to me. Perhaps this was because I didn't feel any sort of like spice between them. But yeah, while I didn't hate it or anything, I was just kind of like, meh. Like, there's a twist at the end, and I was like, oh well. Overall, though, I absolutely loved this book, and I couldn't put it down. I'm definitely going to read book 3 sooner than later. Probably, January maybe. I might ask for it for Christmas in paperback. Yeah, so totally recommend it if you read Along the Razor's Edge. The second book definitely does not disappoint. It does not take anything away from the first book. In fact, it builds on it. So highly, highly recommended. And let me know in the comments if you folks have any recommendations about books about like fantasy demon possession. It's possible I read them, but I would love to find any that I haven't read before. So please do let me know. So thanks.